everyone. Today we have our another new episode, and we will discuss on innovations. And this is the side event of the COP27 because we are creating awareness in the emerging economy. We have our world famous speaker, Mr. David Schumacher, Dr. Musa, Professor David Smith, and Mr. Michael. Thank you for joining today's session. First, I would like to give chance Mr. David Schumacher.
Hello, Sharif. Thanks for inviting me for this subject. As many in your audience know, I'm active in the Transhumanist Party, and I serve as Director of Applied Innovation for the Transhumanist Party. So that seems to be right on topic, talking about innovation today in light of COP27. So I thought I'd start out explaining a little bit from my point of view, and then maybe take it more general, and then leave it open for others to discuss. So what's applied innovation? What's innovation? And what's transhumanism got to do with any of this? So innovation, if you look it up, if you look up the dictionary, I think a lot of people have their own idea what being innovative means. But a dictionary definition says it's a new idea, a method, or a device, something new, and it pretty much leaves it at that. But part about the definition that I do like is it talks about being innovative with ideas as well as with methods, which I think are very instrumental in business. And then, of course, probably what we most think of when we think of innovation is devices that come out of this. So why is my title at the Transhumanist Party Director of Applied Innovation? Because I think it takes going beyond innovative concepts themselves. It actually takes applying these, making them practical in daily situations, especially in modern life, where it seems like we have so many new products and services that are being made available to us. How do we apply those? How do we utilize those in our own personal life or in business life? And you can go out to US Transhumanist, you can go out to, to transhumanist-party.org and look at the leadership page. And I write there in my bio a little bit about applied innovation and talking about using creative thinking, collaboration, commitment. And the big one is behavior changes that come about with the use of the technology. It takes it out of theory and puts it into practice. You can also look at the Transhumanist Party platform, and Section 8, that was adopted by a vote of members back in February of 2017, says the United States Transhumanist Party supports maximum individual liberty to engage in scientific and technological innovation for the improvement of the self and the human species. So it's a rather broad statement, but the point is that we focus our energy and our commitment into improvement for individuals as well as for us all as a collective. And I think that's an important thing. And it goes back to making it, applying it. Now, more generally, I've given a definition that actually came from Merriam-Webster's dictionary about what innovation is. But do you realize that there are different types of innovation? And if you go out and do a web search, you'll find articles that say the 3 different types, the 10 different types, the 5 different types, the 20 different types. There's a lot of different ways to cut this. But the way that I like to look at it is people can use what might just be considered to be improvement, but it's incremental innovation. It's taking and building continuous improvement one step on top of the other. And we see that in a progression of products that are on the market. Here recently, I upgraded my cell phone, and this is a 5G cell phone device. And I was thinking back in about 2011, it's a Samsung, by the way. No advertisement implied, just happened to be what I like. But back in 2011, I had my first Samsung, which was an S2. And I moved up the ladder to where I traded in this phone was an S8. So you can see the incremental progression going from 2 all the way on up as far as all the things that are built into the phone, all the flexibility, and the technical aspects of it. Now, the new phone that I just got is now an S22, and it's not quite linear because Samsung goes S2 to S10, and then when they jumped to the 5G, they started with 20. But you can still get the idea of this whole idea of incremental innovation, if you will. Another type of innovation that I really like is something called adjacent innovation. And that's taking an idea from one area and maybe applying it into a different new market area. So an example of that might be the whole idea of using individuals to produce a service that was previously done maybe by a single corporation. So probably one of the examples that would be known to a lot of people might be something like Uber. And Uber takes individuals, ties them together through a software system, and connects them with riders, and has some other innovative ideas as far as how payment and tracking and so forth go. But the basic idea is that they took that and put that out there. And then you see things like Airbnb that did something similar for accommodations. And then you see this in other areas that are showing up where you have a central IT coordination system that's marshaling the resources. So they've taken an idea from one area and applied it across different disciplines, and that is a form. You might argue that that could also be called disruptive innovation, because what it has disrupted in the taxi industry with Uber, or what Airbnb has disrupted perhaps in the hotel industry. I think the biggest example of disruptive innovation, though, here, at least in the United States, is I remember a time when on the weekends I would run down to a store called Blockbuster and rent videos and take them home and play them for the family and the kids. And then along comes something called Netflix, which started sending movies in the mail and now is a big streaming service, and Blockbuster is no more. So that's clearly a disruptive type of innovation. The hardest one, I think, to get your arms around, though, is something called radical innovation, and because there's an unexpected element in that. For example, we were talking about smartphones. Think of smartphones themselves. Sure, we had telephones before we had smartphones, but at least in my house, we had one, maybe two. The main phone hung in the kitchen and had a very long extension cord on the handset so that you could walk around the kitchen and talk on that. That is in no way relates to what we carry around in our pocket today as a smartphone. The smartphone was something that when it came onto the market, immediately changed the landscape of what was going on. You could say that television did that over radio. Sure, we had radio, we had wireless communication, but look how quickly television overtook radio and put radio into more of a niche type of market. So lots of different ways to do that. Now, I don't want to talk too long, so when I come around maybe for my next idea, my next time to talk, I want to talk about how do you go about innovating? How does a person that's listening to this, how does the youth in the area where Dr. Sharif is at, how do they take this information and apply that? And we'll talk about how can they become more innovative? How can they look for these kind of ideas? And then what do you do with them? But I'll leave that for later. Thank you, Sharif.
Thank you. Now I request Dr. Musa. Dr. Musa, can you unmute yourself?
Yes, thank you for so much for giving me a chance to talk. The first talk, I would like to talk about, for my opinion, the technology that will help a lot to innovation. We used to say they innovate or die. So we have, to look for innovation, especially that we know that I think that we need like more, technology to get the target in climate change and saving the environment. That's why I'm going to talk about the new technology that will help in innovation. And my second talk, I'm going to concentrate about innovation in COP27. So this is my first talk. I would like to say, plus what's happened, in climate change. uh, we have to know that approximately 40% of this are a result of air, water, and soil pollution. So if we talk about COVID-19 and cancer and tourism, I think, not a big, a big effect, what's happened because of water pollution. How can we save, the environment? Because we have like 10 million tons of waste material gets into the world water a day, and it gets into the soil, resulting in a 3 million potentially pool site, in all the world. So our target to protect our ecosystem, protect the humanity, protect our forest, and this is our moral application, as I said, to hand over, the earth, or the planet to the next generation in a better way. So let's say that we have, simple things we do before, innovation, like reduce, reuse, recycle, volunteer, educate, conserve water, choose sustainable, shop wisely, use long-lasting light bulbs, plant a tree, don't send chemical into our waterways, buy consist, traditional, way we used to say. So let's say that 70%, 74% of more than 200 influencer environment subs agrees that artificial intelligence will help to solve this environment issue and the climate issue, and 64% agrees that the Internet of Things will also take an important part in helping to solve environment issues. This innovation. So we have to go to the, new tradition, new technology, to technology, of the 21st century. So if I'm going to talk about the impact of technology in the environment, what are the environment technology? So this environment technology helped, a lot in different sector: agriculture, construction, energy, industrial, water and resource management, transport, resource management. So we have first to develop this renewable energy technology, saving the endangered wildlife and adopting a smart life cycle. So we have like 10 technologies that will help, to save our planet Earth. For example, solar glasses, graphene, planet-based, plastic, fake meat, butters, environment sensor, artificial intelligence, smart, grids, carbon capture, nuclear fission. So artificial intelligence, as I said before. So how will the environment monitor with IoT? So if I use IoT, it will help a lot, to save a lot of things, because of damage or something like that. So how we monitor with IoT could solve the climate crisis. We see that, IoT will help, a lot. It's mainly accelerated by extreme energy consumption, carbon dioxide emission, and air pollution. This is where the IoT can help, a lot. For example, there is research predictions that IoT can help to reduce the greenhouse emission by 3.9% by 2030. That's why you have to go to this. So using IoT sensor, it will help a lot. And also about 3% can be a result of livestock monitoring in smart agriculture. Also, artificial intelligence could save the environment. Artificial intelligence is another powerful tool, will help a lot. Plus, IoT, because it like works 24/7 level of productivity, and a large amount of data and deep learning for human, will help a lot. How can AI help, to save our planet? We have, it will help, in footprint identification, in ocean data alliance, in global fishing watch. So AI application is used to monitor, mosquito population to avoid the spread of different diseases, in high resolution map. A lot of use of this artificial intelligence. Also, cloud computing and big data can help to, fight climate change faster. Correlation between big data and the climate change cannot be underestimated in the 21st century. Big data, monitoring can provide real-time and accurate insight, that will help a lot in energy consumption, in deforestation, rising sea level, and many other factors that affected, climate change that can tracked with the help of this, cloud computing, edge computing, and big data. So a lot of work has already done in this area. For example, global forest watch, mapping model, you know, Google Earth engine, adequate, a lot of, application for this. So the biggest challenge that our planet is currently facing, can benefit from the technology of the 21st century, AI, IoT, cloud computing, blockchain that we use for our daily life and business. And it's time, to start thinking out of the box to save, our earth and our planet. So AI and IoT can reduce, e-waste if we can use this application also for farming sustainability. I will give you an example, in Dubai and United States about that, and also, for spice security, a lot of application and solution will help a lot. So adopting IoT and AI to clean air, 97 percentage of town in low and middle income nation with more than 100,000 residents don't match poor air quality guidance. So can help using this IoT and artificial intelligence and utilizing IoT and AI enhance renewable energy technology, implementing IoT and AI for water conservation. So as a community, as a world, we still to face huge environment, and climate change and environment protection and use of new technology, AI and IoT for environment sustainability is one of the most useful tool to fight, the fight for environment balance. Business organization also can implement. That's why, my thinking, about use this new technology, for and adopt this new technology in all the world, not only in Asia, USA, China, but also, in Africa. That's my opinion. Thank you so much for giving me a chance to talk. Thank you.
And universal to the
Thank you. Now I request Professor David Smith.
Uh, Dr. Sharif, thank you so much for the ability to talk here. Particularly if you look at innovation as it coming out of COP27, it really focuses a lot on the climate change issues and the climate change around it. David did an excellent job of outlining different types of innovation, different type of innovation processes. Dr. Masood began to look at the technologies, and all those are important, particularly as you look at innovation in climate change. You have incremental innovation, you have distinctive innovation, you have disruptive innovation there. And while incremental innovation can help us in climate change, we really need to move more towards the distinctive type of innovation. Breakthrough innovation is nice, but it's hard to happen, and the ability to implement breakthrough over wide areas is very difficult. But distinctive innovation is the one that will be very useful as we begin to move forward. This year, as you begin to look at it, one of the speakers at the COP Innovation Summit this year really stressed the idea of collaboration. And it was very interesting to look at the presentations and how much collaboration was there, because you see that to address climate change, as we've spoken about, again, you have to do it on a global basis, and it will take collaboration, not just as we look at the processes and procedures and regulation, but innovation as well. One of the particular notable things at COP27 for innovation was that Israel, for the first time, had an exhibit in the Innovation Hub at COP27, which was them opening up and moving their innovation globally now, and seeing how they can really gather the consensus for climate action. The fact that the COP27 was in Egypt this year, and Egypt has many challenges in environmental concerns, particularly with water and others, that innovation has begun to serve. That has really been a great time to look at it. But if you look at the ability, it's the time for the public and private sectors to come together to innovate together to tackle these problems. And you're seeing it through regulatory frameworks, you're seeing it through financial structures, you're seeing it through collaboration between universities and the private sector, university to university, and government to private sector university to try to create the conditions for technology innovation to flourish and to be useful there. One of the demonstrations of innovation at COP27 was the ability to change the jet fuel that was used. And one of the innovations there was an ethanol to jet process to be able to begin to push that fuel more into jet fuel. The other innovation you saw there was the use of hydrogen fuel cells to begin to use in a lot of the engines there. And hydrogen fuel cells to be used in the APUs and others that to help us handle transportation better. One of the big other innovation areas there was how to make buildings more sustainable. And we saw that being really structured. Materials, emissions, all had innovation areas that were important to be used there. And really the success of this type of innovation is very important because we really have to look at how to advance all the issues, to do all the collaboration together to make innovation happen. And there's a lot more to the innovative process. And we're seeing now dedicated incubators, dedicated collaborative hubs standing up all around the world. And one of the other outputs out of COP27 for innovation was explicit funds being dedicated for innovation, not only in the developed nations, but explicit funds dedicated in the developing nations to spur innovation to solve this really critical problem that is in place there. And that's my initial thoughts on this, Sharif, but thank you so much for letting me comment.
Thank you. Mr. Michael.
Thank you, Sharif, for having me here. I would like to ask you, because if you mute your microphone, there is a lot of noise generally from the streets. But according to the COP27 and innovations, I have one trouble. It's not only with COP27, it's with many others. We are right now funding and investing in dreams, in storytellers, in people who do not have the solution, but they can really present it well, their ideas. So we invest millions and billions in dreamers, and we do not invest anything in doers, which really do. As David says at the beginning, we have the solutions, but generally to scale it up, there will be need some support. And this is what is not happening. And that is, on my opinion, the wrong approach. Because if you invest in innovation, which has to be developed yet, it will take another years. And if it's not successful, then we will give them another year. The ocean cleanup project, great example, started 2013, and until now they collected 100 tons of plastic waste from the Pacific for $100 million US collected. This is less waste collected than produced in one factory in one day. So that's a wrong way. On my opinion, it should be supported through the innovation, supported the products and solutions which do already exist. Started by small, it doesn't matter. But we have solutions, just we do not see them because we prefer to invest in something which will be new. But in fact, You know, here, this course, you see the size, it's made out of used bags of potato chips, but the methodology is 400 years old. It's called origami. Here, it's a piece of material, it's a construction material based from Tetra Pak packaging and single-use packaging. It's certified construction material made in Europe, but generally the heat compression technology is here for hundreds of years. Just we did not have plastics. So we have it right now and we use it. And there are so many similar examples. This is why generally it was necessary to create the Industry 5.0, which I created. And this is the umbrella above all these innovations. So from my point of view, I am happy there was a discussion on COP27, but generally it's only discussion, there are no results. The same with the promises and pledges and the loss and damage fund, which was called the biggest success. And I asked the people there only one question. Is it really better to wait till loss and damage happen? Why it's not prevented? Why it's not funded the prevention of loss and damage? Nobody was able to answer this question. And this is innovation. So we don't need to wait years and develop. We can do it right now and along develop something new. But if we do not start to implement it right now, and if we do not support the doers, unfortunately, the future does not look well. And that's my comment on COP27 and innovation generally. So thanks a lot.
Thank you, Mr. Van. Yeah.
Hello, all of you. Nice to be here again. I just wanted to hear to ask you, can you hear me well? Because last time I had yes. Okay, good. Yeah, I have my own kinds of thoughts on innovation. I think, yes, I liked the words which Michael said. We live in a world with many plans and little execution. And yes, I think we must change that. And the level of change can be enhanced if we bring it to individuals. I think some weeks ago, I had a talk with Michael about Michael is concentrated on industrial waste, but we can do as individuals also a lot on waste. We can just waste less, trying to be happier with less. I think I have talked several times with this topic on this place. And when we talk about innovation, we are talking a lot about technical innovation, but we live in very special times, I would say, in which we can enhance the human mind innovation. This is innovation in ourselves. According to me, we work too little on that. We work too much on the outside innovations, the technological innovations, and too little on the human mind or brain innovations. And of course, topics like this are more or less lacking in COP, because I usually often find that indeed we have a lot of, I would say, heads of states or very important people talking there. But to be honest, I would like to rather see a forum like here, which Dr. has collected to be talking on a COP. Yes, we need new thoughts. We need alternative thoughts. We need daring thoughts. And lately I was talking with a group of coaches which are thinking about the future of leadership, the future of making a better world. And one of the main conclusions was, you got to be a little bit crazy to be a leader of the future. And I think this is missing. We have to dare to be a little bit more crazy. If you're completely crazy, it doesn't work, but we have to come from this moment into a next moment, but to dare ourselves and dare to be a little bit more crazy. You become more inventive. Also, the present world situation as it is, I think Michael has a very statistic view on pollution and all kinds of things which we wouldn't like to happen in our world. But we can change that. We can change that, and I believe we must work bottom up. Present governments are sponsored by corporations and big financial institutions, but also by us the people. They take taxes from us, and it's every country more or less the same. Some countries are heavily taxed, others less. We have rights to change our leaders, and we should change our leaders. And we should start with doing it on this kind of groups. We should inform young people. We are lacking education to change quicker. We say we have a lot of technological advances. Sometimes I'm joking, you're going, Dr. Sharif, you also have that. This technological development is one big noise out of your window. We have a lot of technological developments, but many of them have a lot of waste. They're wasting our brains by the noise, by the outlets. The smells are not pleasant, they are not natural, they are not conducive for health. And I think we need a lot of craziness to go ahead. A complete change of mindset. And governments are not the institutions who will change the mindset of the people. We must change the mindset. I'm not a speaker on COP and so forth. I'm a speaker on small forums like here. That's why I can only thank you for inviting me, and let's try to do something good.
Thank you, Mr. David Schumacher. I think you have more interesting view about innovations.
Well, I always have a lot to say, and sometimes it's worth listening to. Maybe this time will help. I'm not sure. I found it very interesting to listen to each one of our different speakers and took something away from each one of them to consider. Dr. Musa, thank you so much for talking about examples of applications of innovation and projecting those to what they can do for the future. I think that helps provide motivation, which might be something that my previous speaker right before me was speaking about, this idea to inspire humanity, that we need to be inspired to perhaps do things differently than we've done before. And this goes back to my idea of applied innovation. It's not enough to just come up with new technical products. It's not enough to come up with new technical ideas, but it's a matter of focusing them, and that takes collaboration from manufacturers, yes, from government, and from the individuals that would use these. And this goes to the idea, I think, of what Michael was talking about. I like this idea of scaling small existing ideas that are already out there that have demonstrated themselves to a particular level. And this goes back to applying innovation. Because innovation just isn't a shiny new toy. It's not a shiny new technology. as I spoke about earlier, it's new ideas, new methods, and new devices, yes, but it's applying them in a way that has not been done before. That's the excitement, I think, about innovation. And if we can take something that is already proven at a certain level, it doesn't mean that it will scale, but innovative ideas can help scale that. And we need motivation from the public to say, yes, there'll be a transition period here that may be difficult, but like Dr. Musa was talking about, showing ideas on a grander scale and saying, these are the kind of things that we can achieve, I think then helps us do this at the individual level and helps us invest in these small ideas that can be made larger. And this is something that I think your audience, your youth audience, Dr. Sharif, can get involved with, because innovating is not somebody else's job. It's the job of each one of us to do at the individual level, and then take that into our businesses and take that into our communities. And then we can be the driver for the kind of innovation we want. So we can do this by collaboration, as David Smith was talking about. We can do this by just brainstorming ideas of what's out there and what can be created. And then an idea that I really like is taking a look at what is the current situation and taking a human aspect of empathy and saying, how do we empathize with the people that are suffering from this particular problem that we want to solve? And how do we take and solve that in human terms so that we have an emotional buy-in as well as a reasoned mental buy-in to be able to move this future? Innovation's important. It's a topic that gets kicked around a lot, but it's no good until it becomes applied. So we need the human aspect, we need the technological aspect, we need all of these things coming together. Maybe they get developed by entrepreneurs for the marketplace. Maybe they get developed by a nonprofit if there isn't a profit motive that's available, but the idea needs to be made manifest. There's a number of different ways to do that, and even that can be part of the innovation process. So thank you, everybody, for your comments. You've given me a lot to think about, and I appreciate the topic.
Thank you, Dr. Musa.
Yeah, thank you so much. I was talking before about, my opinion about innovation. I and now in my second talk, I talk about, what's happened in innovation in COP27. We're talking about, innovation hub, bringing innovation to COP27 with UGIH innovation. They are encouraged to explore program and join, talking about, the innovation. The Global Innovation Hub, launched in November 2021, aims to promote transformative innovation for, low emission and climate resilience future. And this hub expands the global innovation space, to achieve the SDG and also by, UN. So, participating, act which, include government and all, regional and local, level. On this, COP27, they launched the UGIH virtual hub to connect, investors and, innovator, and, bring together demand act to include cities, climate and sustainable solution provider and enabler, about that. So climate change, global innovation hub, capital Sharm el-Sheikh is set to, to scale, up and fix of innovative and tackle climate change. A lot, of innovative idea. So the hub, at its current challenge, and innovative process, of opportunity to tackle, this climate change. Will launch version, of this, so feature up 80 back-to-back session, about, innovation themes such as cities, digital finance, partners. So the potential, of bamboo as a material for sustainable construction, the potential of green hydrogen with government, the potential of beans in improving food security. A lot of of subject discussed about that. Energy evolution in the air travel industry, because I work in in air travel industry. So the UN Civil Aviation Organization committed to the goal of decarbonization the international aviation sector by 2050. So a lot of effort doing regarding that to to tackle global change in commercial real estate. Building need to be better for the planet, So a lot of work, and innovation in plastic circularity, in emission reduction, a lot of things on climate action innovation zone. So this climate action innovation zone at COP27 brought, 1,000 of climate leaders to discuss about the new idea, for that, and a pledge of global company to commit 12 billion, in 23 about that. So a lot of things, in climate change action stage in hydrogen transit, summit. Uh, so the new space provide participants, and a lot of events, regarding that. So you can separate about the Babylon feature up to 80 back-to-back session, and this 80 back-to-back session, running for 50 minutes, to discuss about that. So they know a lot of milestones, about launching with this, application and the launching of the means and how food security initiative, pilot, and extension launch of every action count. A lot of things, regarding this, innovation. But let me tell the example about, United Arab Emirates, which bought about 80% of its food, that will host, COP27, climate change in 23, and, make innovation about farm climate innovation, commitment double to $8 billion was, cooperate with USA, about that. So this, will help a lot, in climate change. So the agriculture could get to net zero, and also, for Indian, there is a target also for India by 2070 to net zero emission. So a lot of innovation, demonstrate about that. That's what happened, in COVID-19. So let me say that, as I said before, the first thing, my thinking about the right steps to go. First thing is peace, because as I said that about that this, COP27 held in Sharm el Sheikh, the town of peace. That's why you send a message to all the world that without peace we cannot do anything. The first thing to establish peace, because we need, if we are looking for finance, we need, the money spent in war, in a lot of things. This money transform to, to build, to adopt the new technology, and then we can cooperate. Also, while looking for finance for the developing country, let the developed country, fulfill the promise, $100 billion each year as the promise. The third thing are looking for universal adoption of the new technology, IoT, AI, cloud computing, big data, blockchain, that will help, in achieving the 17 SDG and help in poverty, diseases, violence, and poor leadership, handicapped people, and old people. The last thing we are looking, to hand over, our Earth or planet to the new generation in a better way, not in, climate change effect, not in COVID-19, not in a problem in economy, not on our. That's my opinion. Thank you so much for inviting me to talk. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Professor David Smith.
Well, Sharif, thank you again. A lot has been good said about both the innovation process, the technologies, the impact of climate change and COP27, the ability to enact change from existing technologies as well as technologies still to be developed and put in place. But a couple of comments in just my closing view of talking about this is that innovation is a game where group intelligence needs to be brought to bear. you can as an individual create innovations, but if you look at the majority of the Nobel Prizes that have been awarded, they're collaborative Nobel Prizes, not just between multiple people, but usually at multiple people at different institutions. And increasingly, the ones in science are ones that are distributed globally. To solve this type of problem, you need to have that type of group intelligence applied to look at the innovation solutions that can be applicable here. The regulatory impact around the world needs to be simplified to allow enhanced innovation to take place on this problem. The rules from country to country around how to implement environmental concerns needs to be looked at and streamlined some. You know, there's parts of the United States, for example, California in the United States, where even to implement something to fix the environment has to go through extensive environmental impact studies and begin to look at that. We need to look at that from state to state, from country to country, and see if there's not a way we can harmonize those. Innovation happens faster when you can have a common set of rules of the road to play by and be able to work. And that way, innovation accelerates. We need to look at how to put incentives together. I fortunately was an executive at two consortia in the United States that were brought together, one MCC to combat the Japanese fifth generation computer project, and others to take the computer industry away from the United States. The other one, Semitech, for the semiconductor industry. Both of those consortia resulted in accelerated innovation that was taken back into the marketplace. Not just technology innovation, but human capital innovation, logistic innovation, process innovation of doing things a different way. All of these types of innovations, not just pure technology innovation, are necessary to solve this problem. This is not a problem that a technology innovation is going to solve. We've got to deal with all the innovative elements. Really finally on this one, I think it's important that we understand that with the collaboration requests that were made at COP27 Innovation Hub, they echo the same type of collaboration we see when we solve wicked problems around the world. Climate change, climate action is by definition a wicked problem. Climate change is by definition a systems of systems problem. And you need to bring a innovation process to place that understands complexity theory. You need to bring a innovation process that understands the dynamics of system dynamics, because to solve environmental impacts globally, it is a system dynamics problem, no matter what type of technology, what type of process innovation, what type of regulatory innovation. All of these are really fantastic examples of systems dynamics that has to be solved to innovate in this area. So Sri, it is a very complex area of innovation in this area because of its scale, because of its impact, because of the complexity of the issues and the environment and the human capital, the regulatory that we're dealing with. But it's one that we have to work on to solve. So Sharif, I hope these comments have been helpful, and I look forward to the rest of the panelists, and the comments so far have been extremely good. So thank you for allowing me to be part of this process.
Thank you, Mr. Michael.
Before I say anything more generally, I would like to say that Industry 5.0 was banned from COP26. It was banned from COP27. So this is the interest of innovation, of the world leaders. I cannot speak and deliver information about something what is existing. And I will show you one innovation. You see, it's a cube. This cube is a supplement to the pyramid, because we make one big mistake in the past. We build the future on the top of a pyramid, not realizing that the pyramid was built to store the corpses inside, not for the living ones. And I use this cube generally, this is called 6R, as a solution for 3R, which does not work. 6R work. From this moment, it works. I can send it to you, you can cut it from a paper. It's a way how you generally train your brain permanently into the waste prevention. But I would like to say something different at the end generally. I had yesterday very interesting discussion with a scientist who invented, patented, and sold a patent for a biostimulant for crops. Generally, what they did, and it's very interesting. I don't know whether you know that the chlorophyll in the plants generally live only for 3 days. It's the cycle of chlorophyll cycle, let's say. And they find it out, and they find a way how to prolong it. So generally, the crop is just 1 gram is needed for 1,000 liters. So you see, it's very efficient. And we have a discussion. They sold it as a crop booster. So 15 to 20% of your crop will be healthier and will boost without chemicals. There are no chemicals. And when he explained it to me in a very understandable way, I came to the idea that generally it's not about boosting the plant to grow, but the plant will produce more oxygen and of course consume more carbon. And he said, yeah, you are right. So we didn't thought about it, but you are right. So generally, me, who has no idea about the plants, gave him the idea of secondary, and this is the innovation, because he did not saw it. He concentrated on this one only topic. And right now we can do it, but it is important that the innovations are delivered in a, we call it the language of efficiency, very simple language, which will be understood even by people like me. I have no academic education, you know, I am steel factory worker, or I was. But I am speaking with the people all around the world with the simple terms. And this is something which is missing frequently in science, research, innovations, because they are speaking very special language and the people do not understand it. The doers deliver result, show it to you, you touch it and you understand. The scientists write 500, the last IPCC report, 3,600 whatever pages. Nobody will read it, but it was funded, strongly funded. So that's my opinion. Let's do it this way. Let's speak the language of efficiency. English is just tool, but the language of efficiency you speak with your heart and it's understood by the heart of the people. And this is the difference. So I will send you the cube, use it because it's really efficient. And every time you use it, the speed of innovation is faster. It's unbelievable. When I started, I need for one project 1 month or 2 months. Right now, I need 2 seconds doing exactly the same idea coming to my brain, because every day I am using this system which I developed generally, and it works. So sorry for speaking so long. I give a word to Franciscus.
Thank you for the nice note, Michael. In general, I also would like to express my appreciation for Dr. Sharif's gathering of all these wonderful minds and speakers. I have actually very little to add. I think all is said, and I think I very much liked what David said. We need to innovate on all levels. Not only on one level, on all possible levels, human levels, technological levels, on efficiency levels, do more and make science applicable, not profitable. This is one of my topics which I always have. Let's care more. Commerce should be on the second place. This is a big mistake which we made in the capitalistic world. One of my friends said it's easy to be a millionaire, but to be a good person is not an easy thing. And I think I would like to stop with that note. I'm totally not against much money, but let's do good things with this much money. And much money in itself for individuals doesn't work very much. So we should really care more for the mind and for the people. And what the note which I heard also, we should do it together. This is very good, Dr. Sharif. You call us together. Let's think together. Let's do together and spread some good education for young people. They should have new knowledge and not only what is present at this moment. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Mr. David Schumacher, what's your concluding remarks for today?
I'll be brief. I want to speak to your students out there. I want to speak to your youth out there. We've talked about a lot of different subjects or a lot of different approaches, and I think there's something good for all of them, but they might be looking at themselves and saying, what can I as an individual, maybe a young individual, do? And I think there's a lot, as long as we don't become dissuaded by the size, the immensity of the problems that surround us. Break it down. Take a problem that you're passionate about, break it down and find an area that you have some knowledge or an interest in acquiring that knowledge and the interest to put into development, and look to solve that small problem as part of the bigger puzzle that's overall. And the more people that do that, the bigger parts of the puzzle that get solved. But not only that, it becomes a seed to where if you're successful in developing a solution for one small area, you can grow that or you can knit other areas together. So there is something that you can do at whatever level of education you are, whatever age you happen to find yourself to be. There is something that you can do. So it's up to you to find that, and I know you can. Thanks very much, Dr. Sharif.
Dr. Musa, what's your concluding remarks?
Okay. So let's check first. Yes, thank you so much, Mr. Chief, for giving me a chance to talk. As I told you that, we face, a bigger challenge, in our planet. So we need to hand over this planet to the new generation in a better way. Regarding we don't need, like bad economy and a war, climate change. That's why, for my opinion, that we face that all we face, we can benefit, from the technology of the 21st century that we use in our daily life and business, to start thinking, out of the box to save, our earth from the climate change problem, environment problem. So the technology revolution, brings us endless possibility, to succeed. And as a community, we seek to face this huge environmental challenge. So the use of AI, IoT, cloud computing, blockchain, will help, as a useful tool, for fight, for our fight, for environment balance. So business organization also can implement this new technology and society as a whole to help this new technology. So I hope that, where all the money, all the finance, directed to war. If we end this war, we can, get benefit from all the money, all the the spent in war, and we can redirect to be redirected to adoption of this new technology, in climate change and environment, protection, and we can all work as one person to face our problem. That's why we need cooperation. We need universal adoption of new technology, not only in developed countries but also in developing countries. As I said, that without peace we cannot do anything, but with peace and cooperation we can do a lot. And I think this is our last chance to do something for the our planet. So we have only one place to live for our future generation, to hand over this planet or earth to the new generation in a better way, not in climate change problem, in COVID problem, in the war problem, in bad economy problem. That's why we have to start working and not talking and start from yesterday, not from today. Thank you so much.
Professor David Smith.
My comments from before, I think, were probably pretty good conclusion remarks on this. Is that once again, it takes group intelligence, innovation, not just of technology, but innovation across all the different areas, particularly process innovation, particularly innovation looking at how we are going to manage this, innovation of human capital. Yesterday in the session, talking about COP27, Dr. Khalif made the point, people don't want to change. They don't feel like they need to change. Innovation doesn't work if people don't use it. So we really have to look at this across the entire ecosystem. And the ecosystem must be re-innovated. It must be rethought. Our views of group intelligence must be applied across it. Because I can create the best technology in the world, but if no one uses it, it's really the worst technology in the world. And that's how you have to think about innovation. One last point. I love to think innovation as a rope. And one of the things I talk to scientists a lot about in innovation is, have you ever tried to push a rope? It doesn't work very well. So what you have to do with innovation is you have to create pull. You have to create pull from the users. You have to create pull from the governments. You have to create pull from the different users of technology. You can't push that innovation rope. You've got to pull it. And that's what we need to solve this problem, is to create those processes for effective, not only utilization, but technology transfer as well. So Sharif, thank you.
I would like to thank you,
Mr. Michael.
Dr. David, for the rope. I just put in a check one of my articles. I hope you will like it. It's about the rope and Industry 5.0. What I would like to say to you, to all who listen, there is only one person which changes your future. Only one. It's not Elon Musk. It's not Jeff Bezos. It's not your president.
It's you.
Exactly. You will see it in a mirror. And how you will do it, not with your mouth. You will do it with your hands and your head combined together. And this is what was described here. Because the unity is not only between industries and so on. It is unity between the head and the hands and legs, between the heart. And this is the unity which we have to create it. And if the United Nations do not work, and unfortunately the results are not there, there must be united humans which will deliver the change. So let me wish you before the end, let your days be free of waste and wasting in all its forms. Stay safe and free, because these three together will help you to live meaningful life. And that's the only way how a human should live. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Van, what's your concluding remarks?
I think everything has been said. Very nice meeting. I liked the remark of David Schumacher. Yes, we have big problems. Crush them a little bit every day. I like what Michael said, do it and not think only. Yes, I think we can do it. If we do it together every day a little bit, we'll get at the right place. Thank you.
Yes, thank you.
Thank you everyone for joining today's session. You know that World Talent Economy Forum, definitely we work on research and innovations. We are working with few thousand institutions in Asia Pacific, around 22,000 institutions we are working right now. Uh, the grassroots level people, most of the cases, maybe in the COP27 and all of the big conference and the big innovation hub, corporation, big countries, they never care about the grassroots level people, but we are engaging with the grassroots level people and we are bringing innovation, research, and activities for them. That is the beauty of World Talent Economy Forum. So I want to welcome you all uh,
Thank you
in
also.
our
Thank you.
institutions, and hopefully through this process you can change real people life and you can uplift the community. So that's why, because that many people innovating lots of technology, many people actually investing lots of money for lot of their idea and everything. But if you want to take real action, uh, definitely you have to engage with emerging economy, because 40% of the population live in Asia Pacific, and lot of things we can do if we can collaborate. So yeah, there are many conference and activities happening around the world, but I can ensure the World Talent Economy Forum, how we taking the initiative, how we progressing our work. It's a revolutionary, it's a human progressions, and I'm very happy. Like in between few weeks, our student, our youth community, they are developing technology, they are developing scientific solutions, they are developing a lot of interesting things. So hopefully, it will be life changing, and your dialogue will be helpful for all of my communities,
Thank you.
especially the
Thank you
grassroots
so much.
level people. Thank you, Mr. David Schumacher, Dr. Musa, Professor David
Thank you
Smith,
so.
Mr.
Thank you.
Michael, and Mr. Van. Thank you. Bye bye and take care.
Thank you. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye. Thank you.